And we're live. No number on the orange paper yet. I got in here a full day of work, catching up on work today, and just slid in here in time to go live. And it shows. Who all's here? Michael Robert Embry is here. Buff Del Campo Junkyard D. Got some good stories about some of these folks from the weekend for those of you who were not there. Big Mike of the Hoopty Barn, 6th Street Garage, unfinished project. They call him Dr. Go. Kerosene Cucumbers, Danny Boyd, Rabid Transit Garage, Ginger Vance, Mama M to the third power. Big Mike's asking, anyone heard about a crazy get-together last weekend? I always think of it as a week because it practically is. Rabid Transit J, Dakota's Time Out. Turbo Tom, 416. How? What day next year? Well, I don't think I'm letting any cat out of the bag that we're eyeing September 17th to the 19th, but I want to make sure that Holly, doesn't try to do anything crazy with their dates for Mo Party or Ford, and just want to check on all that. So I'm not jumping anything. Don't want to put bad info out there. Boy, bad info is toothpaste you cannot get back in the tube. So I'm looking at about the same time, but I'm not confirming it just yet. So there's no number on the orange paper. When you see a number on the orange paper, it's official. Anything you get anywhere beforehand or elsewhere is hearsay. Dust Devil Garage, Pure Pontiac Garage, Mopar's Mustangs minivans. You can tell I didn't even set my light up properly. I just had one of my studio lights tip over. They didn't get it set back up yet. One-Eyed Cat's got some bugs to work out, but I have a feeling that the 5th annual is going to be the year of the One-Eyed Cat. Rhyme Bar's Nest, Twisted Dennis. Twisted Dennis, we missed you, sir. Two-Wheel Drive Garage. My Aunt Nancy says, happy Friday. Hello. Hot Rod Guy Garage Russell. What a ride he brought out this year. We're going to talk about some of the stuff. A lot of channels have been given their weekend overview in a video all throughout the week, and I think that's great because we all had a different seat for the events, so I'll give mine tonight. Mohawk 62, Cave Dave, Slant Daily Garage says, what's up, suckers? Indeed. He blistered the field for low ET at the No Name Nationals. Rob's Rod the Streetcar says, howdy. Dylan's Laguna was bulletproof. It only took him 4 tries, but the 4th time was the charm. He broke the first year, broke the second, broke the third, but we could see that he finally had things in order for the 4th and expected him to have a good showing, and he did. And he did. In fact, he won the Most Improved Award, which is a new award for 2025, and deservedly so. Picture typo for you there. I know the date. Oh my goodness. Mexican Spec, hello, sir. Is it going to be the same location? It's something catastrophic would have to happen for it to not be. The Skelton Raceway is the home of the No Name Nationals. T says, evening all, I've almost recovered from last weekend's adventure. We're going to talk about location and date and all that stuff. We got more to come. One-Eyed Cat says we've come a long way. Yes, we have. The One-Eyed Cat has come a long way. He was a candidate for Most Improved this year. He needs one more year to really get it. He's got some great stuff he's working on. Mopar Al, hello. Waiting for people to file in here. Twisted Dennis, in fact, had a doctor appointment today, was sent to the hospital for a test on my left ear issues. Goodness. Well, we wish you all the health you can get. Bad Tree Blake says, Heathens Assemble. Bad Tree Blake was there in Sykeston. Always glad to see him. Bad Tree Blake, a.k.a. Christopher Walken. Cracked me up with that. JB's Little Shop. JB's Little Shop sure made some strides this year. We will talk about that too. JB's Little Shop, he won some hardware. Well, I'm glad all of you guys are here. A lot of you were in Sykeston. Some of you were not, but a lot of the folks here in the chat were. It's a great time, including Indirect Connection Jay, whose wife Tanya confiscated his number for the weekend, which she did. Cope says, UP, you missed a good weekend. Yes, he did. Had a lot of fun. Yep. It is the family reunion with all the people you do want to see. Dan, the IT guy, was there. Got to meet them in person, which was great. Loved having them there. And of course, Destroyer Eric. Lars is at Beach Bend Raceway. He says, can't stay, but I miss all of y'all already. Yeah, we only get to see each other like this once a year. JB's working in the shop. He's trying to improve upon this year. It's going to be hard to do. We had a great weekend in Sykeston, and I've been watching the videos coming out of people giving their weekend, and which I think is great. Mine was great too. I'll probably do my low-tech zooming in, showing you some pictures and things, but I knew that there's some things to be scaled down just a little bit for this year, just a little bit, because there's a lot of breakage, attrition, employment problems, and stuff like that. People have been having everywhere, health problems, everything you can imagine. But we still had a car count about on par with what we have. But a lot of people were feeling the crunch, different things. So a little bit scaled down this year, but the quality I think was better, as good and better than any No Name Nationals we've ever had. The quality was wonderful. It's a wonderful event. I would be hard pressed to say that I've liked any of the others more. This one was great. It was a wonderful time. Loved getting to see all you guys. Big Mike says, don't blink. We'll be discussing the aftermath of the 5th annual event. Well, we're going to be discussing the 5th annual event sooner than later. Because I'm telling you right now, just like Russell called his shot in the burnout pit last year, I'm calling my shot now that the 5th annual No Name Nationals is going to be the biggest and best ever. So get ready. You're not going to want to miss that one. I noticed that the 4th annual, we've got people who are starting to take it for granted. They register late, they show up or they don't. They say, well, I'll make the next one. Can't do that because, you know, as I said, the first year, if we don't make the first year work, there won't be a second. And I think people have started to forget these lessons. So I'm telling you now, the 5th annual is going to be one you don't want to miss. So I plan to do a hard mailer, you know, postcards. I want to let all the people know. There's some people who, I know it's a big commitment to come, you know, time, money, vacation days, all of that, getting the car ready and all that. But I'm telling you, there's some people who may have come a year or two and said, I just can't make the 3rd or 4th. The 5th is the one you're going to want to be there for. Going to be doing a lot of things. And plus, too, as you know, the 5th is a big anniversary. 5, 10, 15, 20. So the 5th year, we're going to start recognizing the OGs. People like we see in this chat. We got several OGs in here. I can just pick a few of them out. Like JB's Little Shop. Like Levi's Backyard Performance, people who have been there all 5 years, assuming those guys will be. They've been there 4 in a row. I don't see any reason why they won't. But Wrong English says you have dedicated alumni for this. Yes, we actually have an alumni section for the No Name 500 on my main page. But I call the working title is the OGs for the No Name National, people who've been there every year. Dust Devil says we need more call outs. We do. There's a lot of cool things. Mopar's Mustangs minivan says he'll be at the 25th anniversary and he'll be 60. Haven't done the math on that, but I might be 100 and dead. I got a few years on you. But it's kind of fun looking at some of that those old videos and seeing just how far we've come, and it's really interesting. Yes, Jay's flexing with his number 1 there. Yes, Unfinished Project said I thought you were already 60. Well, you can't laugh. You got a little bit on me, so. If I'm 60, you're more. Levi says, we'll be there whether or not on a stretcher and an urn. We love the No Name Nationals family. We appreciate you, Levi. We've got lots of great things to talk about tonight. I mean, I know a lot of you in the chat were there. Some of you couldn't be. Please do watch the content that's going to be coming out. throughout the next couple of weeks and throughout the year. I've got some really good ideas in store for the 5th annual. A lot of things this year. Just like the sign says, excuses are the tools of incompetence. They don't do a thing for us. I had a lot of things that were making it hard for me this year that I will not have making it hard for me next year. So I think we had a great event this year. I know I'm biased, but I think the people who were there, I got an email from one of the No Name 500 guys that says we cannot wipe the smiles off of our faces. They had a wonderful time. They said we rolled in the gate, first time we've seen these people in person, but everybody knew who they were and just said we had a wonderful time. Already planning on coming back next year. And he insists the blank orange sheet is kind of refreshing. It kind of is. It kind of is. Big Mike says, I've made up my mind. I'm going to get a lot more serious about next year. I'm not eligible for Frankenstein, so I got to work on something. Well, that's right. You need your own golf cart. And I may. I'm seriously considering that. I absolutely could not have done this year without the golf cart. There is no way. But anyway, I'll catch you up on comments in a minute. But I'll tell you. So, of course, the work for No Name Nationals is just full. There is not really an off season with this event. And those of you who've been around a while realize there really isn't much of an off season. About all the off season I really consider is about now to Thanksgiving, because that's where we announce the date, usually somewhere right in there. This past year, you guys have more heads up than any other year ever. We had a 308-day date announcement. We've never had more lead time than that ever. James, what did I miss? Well, we haven't missed about you rocking the Triple Crown class. Haven't got to that yet. just talk about some different stuff. But we'll catch up on things. I will say the way I started the work part of the event, I had to get all my grass cut. I mowed 4 yards. They're all mine for various reasons. I'm mowing them. And I think that's how I wrenched my knee the week before the No Name Nationals. Because about 2 days later, my knee was swollen up about 3 times the size it normally is. I couldn't bend my leg, and it hurt so bad I couldn't sleep. So that's how I started that off. And I was getting about half as much done as I needed to do every day, rolling into the event. So I knew I was going to have a lot to do when I got here. Fortunately, a couple of things helped. Well, one thing that didn't help was I got loaded up really, really slowly, because trying to load up a van when you can barely walk is very hard to do. And it takes a lot of energy, because the other leg is just doing all the work, trying to drag it, and your upper body trying to drag yourself into the van. It was really tough. I did not get out of here till 3 p.m. on Tuesday, which is crazy. I've never left that late for Sykeston. So I drove it straight through in the van. We live streamed some of it. It was great. Fortunately, the van, for whatever reason, the seat, the angle, the floor, everything about the van, that is the most comfortable my leg ever is driving the van. So my leg wasn't really hurting driving over there, but I got in. We got there about like 3:30 in the morning, something like that. Just minutes before JB and Lars. And if they hadn't broken a throttle cable in Timbuktu, Kentucky somewhere, they might have gotten there before we did. So anyway, JB and Lars got there about 5. They rolled in the gate, I think, at 5:30 in the morning on Wednesday. And I got there about 3:30 in the morning on Wednesday, something like that. 3:34, something close. Rolled in there, fell asleep right in the seat of the van. Got up about 6, didn't see them. They must have been setting up their camp. My leg was hurting so bad. I went and laid on one of the picnic tables, just trying to just lay down and make my legs stop hurting. And I woke up, I want to say, the possum rumbling around on the property somewhere, blowing off the parking lot, getting it ready. And I'm like, okay, time to go. And fortunately, something I thought was the coolest thing ever. Possum and crew were talking about how I slept 6 days. I slept 6 nights in a U-Haul tag trailer at the event, which is fine for me, because if you know me, sleep on the floor. I mean, that's no problem at all. Temperature's perfect for camping and everything. But they're like, man, that guy's hardcore. We put up wrong ward in the Drury, and I'm sleeping in a U-Haul, which is fine with me. I don't have a problem with that. But they're like, they had this little tiny house with air conditioning and power, and they have it on the other side. And I thought that was the coolest thing. And Possum did that for me. I just thought that was the coolest thing. You don't know how much I appreciate that. And he let me use the track's golf cart, and I didn't know how I was going to work that. I mean, I know I got rides with Wendy, and I know there's things I could do, you know, trying to combine trips and such. But doing check-in is a lot of running. There's no way I could do it on that knee, which is not possible. But he let me do that. So Possum saved today. He really, really helped me. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. Not to mention that being able to stay on site and a cool place to keep Jethro makes all the difference in the world, because I don't have to leave him with my aunt. And my aunt and her husband are not quite able to keep up with Jethro. So that was a big help. So anyway, that was a huge help. That was a great surprise that I had once I got there. So I'll catch up on comments, but I just saw this one. No, the Rich thing was a one-time thing. If you didn't come to the 4th annual, you didn't get to see him. I mean, he might pop up somewhere else, but no, we're not. The No Name Nationals is not about fun with Rich, but we sure had a lot of fun on the setup day with old Rich. So if you look in the background, you don't see a lot going on. That's because that was when Lars and I made time to do those things. So there wasn't much going on there, but that's how he did it. And we had a blast. And I got to tell you, Rich liked it too. If you look at his channel, he's got the channel banner up top. He knows we didn't mean any malice by it or anything, and it was a lot of fun. So anyway, and yes, thank you, Possum. That guy's amazing. I cannot say enough good stuff about the way Possum treats us. So, it makes just all the difference in that venue. But so we get caught up a minute here. One-Eyed Cat says his calendar has already started. Oh, yeah, it's running. It's just we don't have an official day yet. A couple things I got to check and make sure. But we'll pin the date earlier this year again. The first 2 or 3 years, we were not able to pin the date quite as early. There are administrative reasons with the track and the management before, and that's understandable. Okay. And I got to say, Larry Jeffers was, man, I've never had a bad dealing with Larry Jeffers. He was always really good and square with me. No problems at all. Great. Larry Jeffers is great. He would really work with me right. In fact, you know, when I did the deal with Larry before, man, he would work with me on a handshake, square up, you know, after the gate and everything. No problem. I never had any problems with him. But I will say, what's different with him and with Possum is all the good stuff like that too. Possum and I, man, we work on a handshake, no problems, everything's great. But Possum, he and his family are very hands-on at the track. I mean, his whole family, his wife, and I think his daughter, his son was there running around last year doing that. So the family, it's the Skelton Family Raceway, and they run it, and they really treat us right there. And he is really committed to us having the best event possible, and this is definitely the best regime we've ever had, you know, working the track. And one benefit is I can get the schedule pinned down a little bit sooner with them than I could before. And so I pass that benefit on to you guys. So rather than really pressing to get that date locked in by New Year's Eve, now we can do it. My goal is to have it before Thanksgiving. We should have it before Thanksgiving. Okay. We just got to make sure a few chips fall in place. And I will tell you now, I'm shooting for about that 3rd weekend in September again. Okay. Can't guarantee it, so don't write anything in stone. But, and I see Scott with an S. And one thing I'll mention about Scott, after the event, I bet Scott spent an hour or two with a bag picking up just little I mean, it took Scott probably 2 hours to find enough litter to put in one bag, which tells you how clean we leave it. But Scott wanted to leave it spotless. Really says a lot about that guy. Gosh. I actually have video. He didn't even know. He's not doing this for show. I actually took video of Scott over in the wood line picking up stuff that was blown in there before the event ever happened. He was committed to leaving it cleaner than we found it. There's Scott, an amazing guy. Really, he is. And we're going to do something with Scott this year. I'm already planning on it. We'll talk about that on a subsequent live. There's things I'm going to get on early this year you're going to want to be a part of. And Scott is part of one of those. Okay. All I'm going to say is this 2026 is going to be the year Scott gets a car there. And we're going to get together and make that happen. There's nobody who deserves it more. Danny Boyd says, my hips beginning to wear out. Oh, man, come on. Don't do that. Oh. A lot of people there. It was so wonderful to see everyone. Yeah, that was so cool. I had no idea. I'll show it to you. I won't tell you what Possum calls it, but it sure is cool. So he was kind enough to let me use the Trax cart, which without that, I couldn't have done it. And oh gosh, got so many pictures. I got a lot of pictures. I don't even usually have that many. Yeah, they have their little cabin, and it's where the screen was for the movie we did in 2023. That little thing is so cool. Just perfect. Just perfect. I mean, nothing in it, but that's all right. Had everything it needed. It's a nice, cool place for Jethro. Had lights, is good. And plus, too, by having lights and power, I was able to sit on the porch and do my administrative work at night. Because there's a lot of stuff I cannot do ahead of time. Like I can't put the car numbers in the announcer book until everybody checks in to get a number. So that's something I have to do late Thursday night. So I was doing that till about 2 o'clock in the morning on Friday so I could have the book ready, printed out, ready for Ron Friday morning. So I got to have power to do that. It's helpful if I can do it to track, et cetera, et cetera. So that was really cool. Yes, Scott picked up everything. Really, he did. In fact, I have a picture of that too. I got to skip around a little bit to get pictures of some of these things. But Scott was, and he was doing this on Sunday. Yeah, there's Scott. Scott had a bag, and he's over there by the road on the way in, just looking for stuff, just trying to leave it cleaner than he found it. Yeah, there's a guy right there that deserves every good thing that happens to him. We're gonna make sure he gets a car there in 2026. I've already talked with him about it, and that needs to happen. Indirect connection still hasn't unloaded yet. I still have the signage for the event in the van, so we're working on that. I got to get that unloaded tomorrow sometime. J-Bo's Earth Shaking Store and can't help you there. Lone Wrench Garage, hello. Closely considered for the No Name 500 Champion Cinderella Award, which went to Vintage Adventurer Drives. Very close one between you two. Mopar Owls hoping to bring 2 next year. The return of the burnout truck. Yeah. Speaking of burnouts, Outfits Garage Russell was a judge last year. And for those who were there, you'll remember he said we introduced himself as a judge, Russell from Outfits Garage. He said, last year I finished second in the burnout competition, and next year I'm finishing first, and dropped the mic. This year, he did exactly what he said he was going to do. Russell burnt the house down, and he won the burnout competition at the 4th annual No Name Nationals. And I appreciate that, JB. The trash truck, JB helps. The trash truck not only races, the trash truck not only won the 6-cylinder bracket and the People's Choice, it also is what helps. We have to use a pickup truck to back in there to get enough height to drive the posts in for the welcome banner. And since those guys are always here crazy early, the trash truck seems to be what we use to back in there and get on the tailgate so that we can put the posts in for the welcome banner. really appreciated that you guys helping me set up with that. But thank you, JB. Yeah, and the 440 powered Cushman was there. Jason's Garage Inc. was a threat in the bracket with his daily. It's good to see him there. Possum needs a special accolade. Well, you know what? Possum, we love Possum. We'll do something for Possum. That guy, he is the hardest working track owner ever. Rich had the best time. He did everything. Yeah, Rich did. If you haven't, those of you who haven't seen it, if one of the mods wants to put up a link to the short on my channel with Rich, that'll give you a good idea of what I mean by Cardboard Rich. He was there. He might have looked a little flat, but he felt okay. That was the most Rich has done in years. Cousin Cletus was there. Cousin Cletus won the beginner bracket in a Tesla. How about that? A stock Tesla running 770s. And Cousin Cletus wins the beginner bracket with it. So Cletus will not be eligible for the beginner bracket next year, but he could be deadly in the Friday bracket in that car. You never know. Twisted Mopar Garage Genesis last 2 weeks has been a complete challenge for me and a disaster again. Man, we wish you the best. Tim72 Demon, who was in Sykeston, said, made it. It was good to see you, sir. And Mopars, Mustangs, and minivans, yeah, we're working toward that. We just want to make sure there's nothing that messes with that too much. So we're just working on that. Although at this point, pretty much there's a lot of people I don't think would want to get on our weekend at this point. Yeah, we're working on it. We're working on it, Ron. But that's what we're looking for, okay? Mopars, Mustangs, and minivans. I was picking up trash today. We got there. I know it wasn't ours. I just have respect for the staff at the track. Yes, we try to leave things better, and we found them if at all possible. Cousin Cletus says, I'm going to do a build challenge. It will end at the 5th No Name Nationals to meet up. Okay. Part of that build channel is going to be build a channel if they don't have one. I know that. M&M was picking up cans. Yep. Well, we just want to leave it better than we found it. That we strive to do that. Jason had a blast with y'all. How'd the front wheel bearing drama? There was no drama. The van has a messed up spindle, and you can look at a short on my channel from a while back. It had eaten the wheel bearing before, and that spindle looked rough. But I deburred it. I ran a dye over the threads and everything. I said, well, it'll be okay. It's just kind of rough, but it wasn't. It wound up letting the wheel bearing move too much. The inner race, it got hot and chewed up a wheel bearing. So I was coming back from Lambert's, and I was hearing this bearing make a little bit of noise. And I thought, is that what that is? Is that just gravel? Is that a wheel bearing? And then I took off on a Walmart run, and I was listening to it. It says, nope, not taking this. So I turned around, came back down Sandywood Road, and Lars was good enough to give me a ride to Walmart. We made a run over there, and I said, well, I can't do anything with this wheel bearing right now. I just can't. But Saturday after the awards dinner, we pulled down there to the garage. And let me tell you, my friends, Tony's Hot Rod Garage and Lars and Buck and Turbo Tom, these guys didn't even let me touch a thing. They just took care of the wheel bearing for me. I'm just so not used to that. Took care of everything. We made a ride out to O'Reilly and got a couple bearings and greased them and put it all together. Good to go. No problems. But I still got to put a spindle on the van. No big deal. Not a big deal. Evans Mopar, I wish I could have recycled those aluminum cans. I got car parts to buy. Yeah, I can understand that. Crystal Onyx, did anyone find a pair of glasses? Perhaps Silver had them there since we can't seem to find them. Well, if anybody knows, talk to Crystal. Let's see here. Had a great time. Well, good. I'm glad you did, Mr. Quick Wrench. And now you kind of see what's going on, and we hope to have you back. Dust Devil Garage still has a pillow and blanket in the front seat of the truck. Yeah, Jethro's blanket's still sitting in the back of the van. Big Mike finally got his tools out of the truck this morning. Yeah, I've been slow getting put back together here. Yeah, Mopar's Mustangs. One of the administrative things is generators next to camping. We're going to have to do something with that because, generators can get pretty obnoxious to people who are doing rustic camping. So we will deal with that for next year. We will. That's an administrative thing for 2026. We'll see what the new year brings, new challenges for sure. Yeah, right, but new rewards with those new challenges as well. 38 Rays says, good evening, family. Yep, we appreciate Ray. So I'll tell you, for those who weren't there was an incredible pit thrash going on. Junkyard D brings his car all the way from North Dakota with a short block in it. And when he gets there, they put the heads, intake, carb, cam in it, break the cam in on site, and work till about 2 o'clock in the morning to get that car ready for Triple Crown on Saturday. And he fires it up and brings it to the line. And then he had some wiring smoking under the dash. And rather than have a big fire, shuts it off. But he almost made Triple Crown. Really tried. We had another great pit thrash. Dead Dodge Garage had his transmission out and completely apart on the ramp of his trailer. So the guy comes down 2,800 miles from Washington State, spins the counter shaft in the transmission, 4-speed transmission in his Barracuda, and takes it out, stakes the counter shaft, takes transmission apart, stakes the counter shaft, puts it back in the car, and still goes out and races. So we give him best pit thrash because it actually was a pit thrash that resulted in making another run. But Junkyard D still won the Hard Luck Award. I don't know, man. I think at least put you a bar in that scamp and some gears. Let's see here. Some gears will really pick the car up. It absolutely will. Mr. Quick Wrench says, we'll be bringing a burnout truck next year. Right on. Hard to use the trash truck within the staging lane 6 hours a day. That's right. Well, JB, I think, made the most passes of anyone because Possum said they told him in the tower that number 51 made 24 passes. Yeah, so that was the most passes. So it was JB. How would a Tesla not be stocked? There are people who do things to them. What's that guy's channel like? Rich Rebuilds. He does stuff to modify them. Charger 383 Mopar did more black and white photography. Should have over 140 pics next week. I can't wait to see those because I used a couple of those pics with his blessing for the site to register this past year. So if you saw any of those cool black and white photos on the registration site, those came from William, Charger 383 Mopar. You can do some software stuff. There are some mods you can do to Teslas. I don't really know how to describe what Cletus did in the burnout pit. And I don't know if that's what Johnny C was talking about, but I had no words. I don't even know how to explain it to you. You guys just need to watch the video of it. Poor boy Mopar says, yeah, got to get up to my 500 once I start posting again. Well, my advice is start now. You will be surprised how fast this thing will go once a number appears in that orange paper. The one-eyed cat Don got his subs one at a time, but he started now. He started as soon as one event was over, and he cruised into having his subs the following year. Mid-South Lowballer. What a name for that. Well, that name's a mouthful. Came briefly this year as an observer. Will at least come for a longer stint next time. Awesome event. Well, cool. Glad to have you. Buick Smith popping in for a bit before supper with the family. Cool. Glad you're here. Tim 72 Demon is pricing kegs. He can bribe some friends to help me get that demon to Sykeston next year. I'm telling you, start now, guys. Start now. Those who work through the winter are the ones who make it. Mr. Quick Grinch wants to do a call out for old cousin Cletus to the burnout competition. I recommend getting your 500 first, and get your announcement, get your video made to Cletus. Do the call out. That's a spun bearing in the van. Yeah, it was a mess. What was in the van? Should have tacked the new bearing to the spindle. Well, you don't want to overheat the bearing tack welding it. Gosh, that'd be the worst. It's fine. I got to put a spindle in it anyway. Main Street Mopar had a great time. Can't wait for next year. Yeah, man, we're glad you were there. In After Dark, yeah. Nadertron the Nerd had a great time this year. And by the way, I should be on an episode of Nadertron's Haters podcast, which was recorded in Sykeston. So if that is up, if one of y'all can post a link to it, that would be great. Buick Smith's asking what part of North Dakota Junkyard D is from. He's from Bismarck. Dust Devil spent the money on a quiet generator just for that reason. Mexican Spec, you know what? I'm going to let the people who were sleeping next to it give that opinion. How about that? Because I know a lot of them hated it. And the exhaust is not white noise. Indecisive Garage, have no fear. Indecisive is here with Broken Spirit. Yeah, Indecisive Garage had some problems. Kind of rained on his, no pun intended, Ford Fest weekend. But it was really good to see Tim there in Sykeston. And really looking forward to having him back. Have him back with a healthy truck, run a personal best, and be a threat in the bracket in 2026. Jamie from Dead Dodge Garage thrashed twice, all night, then the next day, Trooper. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. In between those extremely long hauls. So it was good to see him there. Looked like he had a really good time, put on a great show. We want to see him again. Evans Mopar says, I'm sub 68 for you, poor boy Mopar. That should get you closer to 500. That's right. Start now. You'll get them. Junkyard D, I was so close, had my helmet on, ready to go. Yes. Yes, I was really wanting to see him get down the track. 38 says he did beat JB by just a few passes. Well, JB was in the lead. So if you beat him, you beat him later. Because he had the lead there for a while. Ray must have really come out. The Tesla shocked me the most. Yeah, I know what those things run. I've seen them run before. They are quick. Teslas do not like burning tires, and they didn't. No, a Tesla's good at burning tires if the battery catches on fire. They'll burn the tire down to the cords. Let's see here. Looks like Left Turn Dodge is planning on going next year. Well, I hope so. And I will say there's a lot of people, and I know it's a big commitment of time, money, vacation time, all of that planning. I get it. It's not easy for any of us. But that said, there's a lot of people who make plans, and it always distills down to fewer come time to actually get in the car, load the car up, get in it, and drive to Sykeston. So because life happens to all of us, I get it. But that said, I really hope to see Left Turn Dodge there. So the One-Eyed Cat says, I started in October and I had my 500 by April 2nd. One-Eyed Cat can tell you all about how to do a little tiny bit every day and win the race that way. He's a model of how to do that. JB's got Go Faster parts on the way. Can't wait for next year. JB won the 6-cylinder bracket. I was so happy for him. He wins the 6-cylinder bracket, and he won the People's Choice. I couldn't be happier for him. First Responder Garage, John wears out his bearings like his tires. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Junkyard D is going to go back and recheck everything. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. 38 Racing says, No Name Nationals is a learning experience every year. I'm making a shopping list for the Mess 10. Yes, and it is. It evolves. And I'm telling you, I told you earlier, I'm going to mention it again. The 5th annual, I'm throwing the house at it. I'm going to make it the biggest and best No Name Nationals yet. And I've got a lot of monkeys off my back for 2026 that I had this year that I won't have next year. And so 2026, there's a lot of things I want to do. I believe it will be the biggest and best No Name Nationals. There's a lot of things that won't change, can't change. The event must keep its soul. It must be based on a content creator community like we have here. I will not open the floodgates to more people when it means dropping the standards from the event. We will still have a No Name 500. We will still have a community just like we have. I want this same community. I want to welcome more people that are made of the kind of the right stuff like you guys into the community. But that's the only way I'm interested in growing. I could have a 300 car count there next year easily if I just took all the standards away, but that's not what I want to do. There's a lot of events like that. I could make this event really profitable if I wanted to do that. But that's not what this event is about. This event is about, I want to have a family reunion of you guys in the middle of the country at a drag strip with my friends and a cookout. And that's exactly what we do. So, but I want to grow it a little bit. I want to grow it because there's other things that we want to be able to do that will help this event, and I need to grow it a little bit to do that. And we've got the capacity, and we can do it. But I got some fun stuff planned, and I want you guys to be part. So anybody who's ever been to the No Name Nationals, you said, okay, you went, the first, second, third year, whatever, couldn't make the fourth or whatnot, or debating on spending the time in the main to come to the fifth, you're not going to want to miss the fifth. Buick Smith's asking if they're going to be doing discount for Metalbrock next year. Yes. As far as I know, yes. And what we're doing is those who are registered this year, you're going to have now until the first of the year when we announce the event formally on the last Friday of the year, which should be December 26th, 2025. You're going to have that grace period to maintain your discounts. If you registered the week of the No Name Nationals, I haven't quite got you in there yet to Alex. So just be patient. I'll have that in there real soon. But you're going to have a grace period from after the event is over until it's announced on December 26th. And then you need to be re-registered then to maintain your discount for next year. But the reason we have that is so that you don't ever drop off. As long as you keep re-registering when it opens, you'll maintain your Edelbrock discount. So that's as far as I know. Mrs. Cletus said had a great time this year. Can't wait till. Oh, right on. We're glad we had more wives and girlfriends this year than ever before, including the lovely Ginger Vance in the chat. She worked our merchandise table. Got to take a ride in a race car. Got to take a ride in Mr. Haney. Ride with Levi. Got to drive a golf cart. So got to do a lot of interesting things that wouldn't have gotten to do ordinarily. But indirect connection. Jason's wife Tanya was there and drove. I bet I don't know how many passes she made. Probably 15, 20 passes in her Barracuda. And Jay from Rabbit Transit, his wife was there. We had more family this year than we've ever had. So that was really great. I love seeing that at the No Name Nationals. So this event will always be family friendly, and we're really glad to see that. Colleen says, I officially own a race minivan now, 1128 at 6030. Right on. Andrew Nelson says, good evening from Team Nivlac 57. Glad you could make it, sir. We're happy you're here. Indecisive Garage says, I made 3 passes at Ford Fist and the trans said no more. It happens. It happens. Bad Tree Blake said it was fun to make content again. Thanks to everyone who brought cool, unique vehicles and not a 2018 V6 street car. So thank you for all the entertainment. Yeah, you guys, we're so glad to have Bad Tree folks. And we hope to see the hippie. We hope to see J-Bo and Jeremy and Blake and more of the crew next year, because the 5th annual, we wanted to be the biggest and best ever. We'd love to see the whole Bad Tree clan come out. Scott says, I can't wait to see which new channel will hop on board this year, spread the news about No Name Nationals. If we all recruit one person, we'll double in size, which is true. Dougster is here. Dougster was ready to leave on Sunday morning, and we noticed the rear wheel on Dougster's truck was wobbling, kind of like this. And Tim sees it, Indecisive Garage, Tim sees it from across the parking lot. And I'm like, oh, man, I ran him down on the golf cart. He had stopped, saw waving him. I said, dude, you got a wheel about to come off. And he gets out of the truck, and there were 3. I've got a picture of that, actually. There were, Dougster had 3 broken studs, and 2 were just finger tight. That was the rear wheel on his truck, and it ruined the wheel. It was clearly the fault of the tire shop who put them on, because he got new tires and they did that. And we fixed that up. I peeled the rust that used to be a parking brake out of the back of it. Just put it in a bag. It was gone. And we got him some new wheel studs and got him all fixed up and on the road. But there's always stuff like that, right? How'd the potluck dinner turn out? It turned out great. We had fried potatoes and beans and smoked pork, and it was great. And to all those who brought a dish, thank you. It turned out great. Love it. Definitely doing that again next year. And JB was right. Watch out for the loose lug nuts. He was correct. What will be maximum capacity? I could see a 200 car count. And the thing is, they could probably do more, but I don't care about that. It's got to be manageable. And even at that, I've got to recruit more help to run it at that. But I would be very happy with a 150 car count. A 150 to 200 car count, I think, would be ideal. If we have the after ceremony dinner again, I'm smoking a brisket. We are. So how's that? Next year, I hope. Put it on the calendar, man. The date will be coming out soon. You will not want to miss the 5th. Tall Garage in the house. Hello, Tall Ken. Dougster says he'll always bring Fago to the No Name Nationals. Yeah, that sounds great. Like when you guys bring things from where you're from. Rabbit Transit Garage is hoping to have a spouse race behind the scenes next year. That could happen. Mr. Quick Wrench is looking for parts. Does anybody have a Ford 9-inch with a 355 to 377 gear? Dougster found a wheel for $75. Good deal. Good deal. Buick Smith's heading on for his weekend. Thank you for coming out. We appreciate you. Dougster has 411 subs. He is 89 subs away from converting over to participating. Let's flog him a little bit to do that. Mr. Quick Wrench got tires at Walmart right before noon, and they didn't even tighten any of the studs. I can believe that. I can believe that. Yeah, Dougsters, I think what they did is probably threw the wheel on, wasn't quite seated, and just slammed them home with impact and didn't get it. Anyway, glad Tim saw that, and we caught it, because that wheel would have left the chat before he got out of town. he got all the way in on it with it just vibrating. I don't think he'd have made it another 10, 20 miles. Main Street Mopar, I'm going to finish up the engine stall at the Diplomat, fixing leaking wheel cylinders, bleed the brakes. Yep, well, you've got over 350 days now, man. Levi's looking for some inexpensive square port LS heads. Holly style race car, possibly a race glide. Sounds like he's wanting to build something a little different. Everybody liked the green beans? Yes, the green beans were delicious. Did you bring those, Mr. Quick Wrench? I did have some of those green beans. They were good. Tall Garage didn't get to do as much fun car stuff. Well, we hope next year is a different year and you can make it out to No Name Nationals. We do hope for that. Lots of great things happened. Here's Dougster's. We put the steel wheel on his truck. All new lug nuts, studs. And as you can tell from this picture, Dougie was quite happy making the run to the parts store. But for those who have not seen the video with Cardboard Rich, I hope one of our mods can put up the link. Rich 220 had a really good time in Sykeston with Lars and the gang. So make sure to check that short out. It's pretty good stuff. We had some new awards there. Triple Crown was a big success. So James and James, Big James there, SSR Performance. He won the Triple Crown and put on a really good show in there in Sykeston. Dougster said it took longer running for parts than it did to fix the truck. Yeah, well, I won't complain. That's a project gone right. Good pit thrash going on here. Indirect connection, dead Dodge garage, put the transmission together on the ramp of the trailer. Some of the stuff you see there in Sykeston. For those of you who did not see it, Main Street Mopar there with the clock for the 4th annual No Name Nationals with Rich and the clock. So for those of you who see Ginger Vance in the chat, she was there. Made her rounds posing with the Parking for the 904 King Only sign there in Cope's Pit. And getting the fire suit on to ride with Levi. And I'm going to be putting together a little video on my channel of her making a pass in that car. But there's her with she and I and Rich. Rich there working the t-shirt table. Rich really made his rounds to the event. He was wearing the swag, and Rich had a good time. And this is actually what I had on the tent right here. I don't know if you can see that because it's just kind of a glare, but yeah, it was a $1 rebate on any sale at the table to make a short with Rich and tag him on it. Keep it clean, fun, and friendly, and we'll match each dollar discount with a gift for him. So that's what we're doing, and we've done that. So Rich, if you're watching, you'll see when it shows up. Yes, talk about the clock. So let me go back to the clock. Oh, I'll find it in my pictures here. Kind of hard to zoom in on this, but there is the clock to Main Street Mopar. And each year it keeps getting a little more elaborate. Our honorable mention on the clock was Barrows. And the sections of the clock, we went from lots of time, duster or truck. Make tech shorts and trim around the duster. There's one of the D150s. Find a 4-speed swap parts. Survive trip to Memphis. There's the Diplomat, the clock, and the calendar wait for no one. Parts run to Indy, and lots of time for next year's No Name Nationals. So Well earned, Mean Street Mopar, a.k.a. Chumley. Levi's wanting to do something with Triple Crown. But it was an interesting weekend for sure. Rich was even hanging out watching Just Mopar Joe and Drew Toon there with Rodney Bird. Rich did all kinds of things. But it was a great weekend. For those who weren't there, you were really missing out. As always, we had our assortment of crazy trophies like we always have. And you guys see some of this a little bit later. We had all of our normal trophies. We did have our bracket trophies. We had a most improved this year. If you notice, there is no Triple Crown was, of course, a sun shell because that's what looks like a crown to me, and that's what I have. That actually is a sun shell out of a YouTuber we all know's car. But there's nothing on top of the burnout trophy because Jeremy, the dirty hippie, was supposed to send me a piece of the tire of his car, which he has. So I will get that and I will fix that. But a piece of Russell's tire from his truck will be on the trophy for 2026. So now what this has taught me is I'm taking my grinder and snips, and I'm going to be claiming it on site next year. I haven't been keeping up. Is the troll seating overcrowded? No, not really. Rich didn't even sit in the troll seating. But Rich is in the group photo. We had Professor P with his Hard Luck Award and the 6-cylinder class bracket trophy. The top was donated by Kim Fixes Things. Buff Del Campo did that nice 6-cylinder distributor for it. That was cool of them. Pit Thrash this year had a big puller on the top of it. And the Iron Man. So we had lots of cool trophies again this year. I like the trophies. They're all about fun. Doakster's going to work a half a day tomorrow. Well, cool. Cool. I got a lot of random things to do tomorrow. Danny Boyd says the Lagunas are the best looking of all the Colonnade GMs, and Levi agrees, but he's biased. Cope was kind enough to give Ginger a ride and Mr. Haney there, an 813, which did not sufficiently scare her. So, of course, that's the wrong thing to say to us. So, we'll look at this right here. I'm going to be putting out a video on this with some compilation, but this is a little preview. Gritting the teeth, and that wasn't even the burnout. That was just like a torque converter test or something. One of the safest cars on the property. He's been running 16 with it that minute. John Force burnout across the starting line.
590 years.
interesting view from behind here that Laura's got. Lift with the front end up. If you want to know how that ended up, you'll have to watch it on his channel. But quite a ride. Jay says, fun story. The hairpin popped out of my hitch pin at some point from No Name Nationals. Could have lost the Barracuda. Found out unloading it at home. The trailer popped off with the hitch. Oh my gosh, I'd rather not even known that. Yes, JB with the People's Choice Award. Yes, People's Choice Award for the trash truck. It has become a perennial favorite. I realize what a following that truck has at the event. I noticed a lot of people, it just makes people smile to see it there. They've watched it improve every single year. And JB has improved as a racer every year too. And he won a bracket, so thought that was cool. Another good story, yeah. So Blue Grit Walter, his daughter Anna. Anna, for the very first time in her life, drove a manual transmission car in the pits at No Name Nationals. And 22 hours later, she was on the drag strip in the car and ran the beginner's bracket that day in it. How about that? How many of you can say that within one day of letting the clutch pedal out for the first time in your life, we're drag racing in a bracket race with it? Thought that was pretty impressive. Levi had a lot of fun taking her down the tracks. It had an amazing year in 2020. Yes, this was the year of Levi. He had 3 years of hard luck, and this was his year. Yep, it sure was. Won a heads-up race with Joe, too. Of course, Joe, you know, he might not have beat Levi in the heads-up race, but Joe was now our two-time No Name Nationals Friday bracket champion, the first two-time champion of the Friday bracket. Big bragging rights for Joe. So he now has 2 bracket trophies from the No Name Nationals on his mantle. And he will. Joe always has a target on him every year. I can't imagine the target's going to be painted on that guy for 2026. But for those who did not hear, Joe had a $1,500 bounty on him for the bracket winner to beat him, which didn't wind up happening because Joe won the bracket himself. But if he hadn't won the bracket, whomever won the bracket, one and done bracket race with Joe for $1,500. So that was a big deal. Had over 30 cars in the bracket on Friday to try to win that money. We want to see a turnout like that next year too. Dust Devil said, this is Levi's redemption year. Yes, Levi's broken everything you can and donated parts for the biggest Kaboom trophy and everything. So this was his year. Junkyard D, that's quite possible. It almost has worked out like that anyway, just with the car numbers, but that's a good possibility. That's a good possibility. Yeah, I like that idea. Yeah, Mexican Spec. I know there's always a gray cloud to find with every silver lining, but I think it's still a good idea. They don't show, they don't show. They might not show. But that said, I feel very confident JB would show back up. Yeah, Levi's he won he got his first 5 at No Name Nationals. He had been a 5 one other time, but he got his first 5 at the event. I won't tell you what the time was. We'll leave that for his channel. But that said, Levi did win some money for that, and he did it with a passenger. But I actually think that probably wound up helping him. And the last car off the track after the picture gets what? I don't know. We almost might call that the Jed Award. No, Jed was the next to last off. He had a flat tire. He all but ran past somebody to not be last off the track when he had a flat tire that time. And Ray might, and Buff was one time. I don't know. It's kind of fun. There's always somebody that limps off the track after the photo. Cultured Redneck Garage just got in, can't stay long, had a great time, and didn't tear anything up in the process. Thanks, John and friends. We're glad you were there. Cultured Redneck Kyle brought his buggy again. I thought that was really cool. You know how many different channels were represented? No, I mean, it's well over 100 because in addition to your car counts, you got all kinds of channels who were there as spectators. Cars don't wind up making it, so I'm not sure. Usually I try to figure over 100 participating channels, and usually close to 200 by the time you count spectating channels too. And Charger 383 Mopar, awesome being up front in the red rocket for the track picture. Well, that all depends on car numbers. So next year our car numbers should be, I believe, 81 through 100 will be up front in the photo. And I've already had an unreasonable request when it comes to car numbers for the photos, but that's none of you guys. That was someone else. Yeah, he had to run back and get the truck. That's what it was. He hit two out there. Yeah, Dust Devil ran out of the garage after the picture one year. The Cushman came and rescued. I remember that well. Yeah. These things happen. Mopars, Mustangs, minivans. Huge shout out to the kid with James at SRS that won a trophy against the mini bike bracket winner and slow race winner. Congratulations, Colton. Enjoy that trophy, little man. On a bicycle, yes. Yeah, for those of you who haven't seen it, the Monkey Bike Slow Race is on Saturday night after the dinner. And this year they've moved it to the track. So now it is at the it's between the staging and the starting line area. The nice big concrete area, got the bleachers there, got the sound and lights. It's really cool. That the Monkey Bike Slow Race is becoming a thing. And I've enjoyed watching it grow, and I'm looking forward to that to come back. It's fun. It's a fun little show they put on after dinner. It's definitely worth a watch. But it was a busy year. It was a good year. It's always just super, super busy for me. For those I don't get time to hang out with, I'm sorry, but that's just the way it goes. It's just a very, very busy year for me. Dougster has now gotten to see just exactly what is so busy there. But that's the way it is. Charger 383 Mopar says, I would like to do another GoPro giveaway next year. He gave away a GoPro this year for the person who came closest to guessing the weight on his Cushman. Just Mopar Joe won it. He was off by, 11 pounds? He guessed the Cushman weight within 11 pounds and won the GoPro. So William is wanting to do another giveaway like that for next year. I don't know how he'll do it, but he wants to do it for next year. So yet another reason to come to the 5th annual No Name Nationals. But we can't put anything in stone just yet, but we are looking for very, very similar schedule as last year on the calendar, and definitely at Skelton Raceway. They treat us like royalty, and we love going there, and we want to go back. Something else cool I'll show you guys. I thought this was really cool. So my good friend John Cope, he found a few of these, and he gave me one. This is a patch from his father's uniform when he ran Transmatic Transmissions, which is a predecessor to CRT. This was his father's business that inspired Cope to one day open his own, Cope Racing Transmissions. So I thought this was super cool. This is going to be getting framed with a picture. And when I get that done, I'm going to show you guys. Yeah, Cope's in the chat, but I thought this was super cool. So this went in my suitcase, not with the No Name National stuff. It went in my suitcase. But you'll see what I do with this. You'll like it. Might be a little big to get in the studio, but the studio might be changing a little bit too. If so, you'll see. Because right now we got this narrow area here. I really like this spot. I'm reluctant to want to change it, but there's some other things that would be cool to do. And if I move the studio around like I've been talking about doing and thinking about doing, I can do them. Twisted Mopar says, I can see another bounty on the one and only Just Mopar Joe. Joe's had bounty on him more than 1 year. You kidding? Tim 72 Demon loved the concert after dinner, the guitar concert. Yes, I believe I've seen video of that on Buff Del Campo's channel. So check that out if you want to. If one of the mods wants to put up a link to that, that would be cool. But on Buffdale Campo's channel, he's got Dead Dodge Garage and Vintage Adventurer Drives singing. You'll want to check that out. But yeah, for those of you who see that, that is the Transmatic actual uniform patch from Transmatic Transmissions. I thought this was just super, super cool. I'm going to be framing that. I thought it was too. Yep, Joe was 11 pounds higher than the actual weight. Yep, I think he guessed 2475, and it was 2464. Is that what it was? Unfinished Projects got the link. This is their song. Give those guys a listen. They actually sound good. How about a 4-cylinder bracket next year? Well, we'll see. The 6-cylinder bracket was super popular, so we'll see. We got lots of things in store for next year. One thing I am doing, I wanted it to work with call-outs this year. Didn't work as well as I wanted it to, but I'm going to force the hand. And next year, Ron Ward has already given it a name. He's calling it the 3-pedal party. We're going to do some more stick shift stuff at No Name Nationals next year. So I want to see a stick car bracket, and we can have some heads up stuff with the faster cars. But I primarily want a stick car bracket so that we can have a big car count with stick cars there. And we're going to be doing some cool stuff with that. Blue Grit says, better late than never. Ann and I had a great time. She wants to bring 2 cars next year. Yeah. And that patch is off of Cope's father, Jack's uniform from 1971. And I really appreciate that. I mean, things like this, there aren't any more things like this, you know. So this is going to get a very special place. It's going to live behind the frame. So when I get that done, I'm sure I'll make a video or post of that and show you guys what I do. Yeah, Junkyard D saying, Cleves, for talk about a 4-cylinder bracket. How about you start with at least 1 cylinder? I like the idea of a 4-cylinder bracket. I do. There's some cool 4-cylinder stuff out there. What's the new ideas for heads up? Well, there's some things with heads up we don't want to talk about yet. And we've got Triple Crown class, okay? So we're going to expand on Triple Crown. That's for sure. I'm looking for a much bigger field than that next year. It was popular. I can see having a bigger field for Triple Crown next year. Cletus says he's going to build something for next year. Right on. Sounds good. We're going to be doing some great stuff in 2026. 2025 was so much fun, though. It was just wonderful. It's great to see everybody there. I will say the quality of the No Name Nationals was outstanding for this year. If you wanted to come and have a really good time and see your friends and have good racing and a good quality event, this one was wonderful. So this one was absolutely worth coming from any corner of the world you came from to come to it. And that's the consensus. But there's so many of my friends who, for various reasons, couldn't make it. To me, that's the only downside. But that said, I'm happy for whoever can make it. And I'm really hoping for the 5th we can really get everyone there. Mean Street Mopar says, I hope to finish up the Diplomat so that I can focus all of my attention on the 444 Speed Dodge D100. I want to participate in the 3-pedal party. Well, let's see what happens, Mean Street. Get them both done and tow the Diplomat with the D100. How about that? Do you add any broken parts to the wall? Well, the top of the biggest Kaboom trophy for next year is going to be the flywheel off of Kim Fixes Things monkey bike. It grenaded going down the track. It's a wonder Kim didn't lose a foot. But that'll be the top of the biggest Kaboom trophy. And, of course, Russell's a piece of his tire from his burnout winning S10 is going to be the top of the burnout trophy for next year. We really were really good on breakage this year. Very little broke. Didn't have any big oil downs or anything. So we were excellent with that this year. Jason's Garage has allowed crossbreeding and Triple Crown. Well, you know what? We heard that call from one team, and for them, it's going to work because orphaned cars, like the Studebaker, for example, can. Colleen says, any parts from Two Hacks? I don't think he's pulled anything apart yet. Where's Jeremy's tire scraps? They're in Iowa, I bet. And he said he was sending them to me. I've not seen them yet, but we will. He says he still has the tire carcasses, so we'll get them. We're really hoping Hippie will come back in 2026. He's a new business owner for the last year, and there's just some hard decisions he had to make to buckle down and do it, but we're really hoping things will open up a little bit for him to come in 2026. Yes, it was good to see Jason there in person. Now you got to bring Rob. Got to get Rob back. It's good to see this vehicle here, the Insanity. Didn't bring it last year. It wasn't caged. This year it's all caged and passes tech properly. It's there. I'm glad to have seen it. Patrick Floorboard Cheney, Blue Collar Nate's brother, won the Ironman Award in that. On the track in the burnout pit, those guys threw down, and he won the Ironman Award. Junkyard D says, now I'm wanting 3 pedals. Your bad influences on my addiction. Well, we're going to have a 3-pedal party at the No Name Nationals next year. And Ron Ward is all about it because he loves his manual transmission stuff. And you want Ron in the booth calling your manual transmission stuff. Blue Grit says, our 67 Mustang broke the night before this year's No Name Nationals. At least it did not break on the track. Well, you never know. Dust Devil Garage says, the Insanity was wicked. I love that car. Yeah, it was really cool. But it's funny because I was talking with Nate when they brought it in. He said something to the effect of, and Nate, if you're watching, you correct me if I'm wrong, but he said something to the effect of, I said he was glad he put a cage in it, or something alluded to, I'm glad you suggested I should put a cage in this, or like I kind of encouraged him to get a cage in it, or something like that, because that thing needs one. And I'm really glad he did. It's a lot safer. But yeah, it was a great year. People had a good time. I'm looking forward to all of the fun and the quality. We had so much fun together. It was just a great year at the No Name Nationals. A great time. I'm wanting to build upon that for next year, and there's a lot of things I would like to do for 2026. So the season starts early for me. I want to get these things in motion, and they are continuing to improve the track there. They're continuing to improve their amenities there. We want to grow together with them, and you're going to be seeing some more on that as the year goes on. Mexican Specs asking William what the floor and the Cushman's going to be made out of. I can tell you one thing. William's got to get something on that transmission. There's a 727 sitting right by his leg. And I cringe to think if the drum blows up in that. Mopars, Mustangs, and minivans is asking a good question. Are we opening up mini bikes or restricting them more? Those monkey bikes are flying. I don't even want to tell people what I was seeing them turning in the 8th. So we will be talking about that. But I want to see the monkey bike class flourish. It's so much fun, and we want to see more. Mrs. One-Eyed Cat, hello, Wendy. I did not get to hang out with Wendy nearly as much as I usually do. I had a golf cart, so I wasn't catching rides with Wendy like I normally do. So glad you were there, though. But that said, I might be going up to see the One-Eyed Cat and Wendy here pretty soon anyway. So if we do, we'll do a live from there like we did that time. That was so much fun, and we might be doing that. But lots of great stuff out of this year. No bathrooms underwater. Yeah, I did get an increased number of porta potties again. Try to make those accommodations as good as we can. But seems like things went really smoothly this year. No real problems in tech. Things went really well. So you guys all did your part. People got to tech early, got through well. For the most part, you go on the cruise to Lambert's. A little bit of bad behavior on it, but it was okay, except for a little bit of what I saw. But Lambert's rolls out the red carpet for us every year. They had our lot blocked off, and what I heard is they had the whole middle of the restaurant reserved for us. They went from saying for the first annual they wouldn't take reservations, and we tried to do a reservation for 200 people, to now they just hold the middle of the restaurant open for us. How amazing is that? So they know we mean business, and they really treat us right at Lambert's. We appreciate them. Evans Mopar says it's cool to see Dawn's Valiant coming together. Yes, it is. Dawn's got some bugs to work out. Just got to work out some stuff with the new powertrain and all that, but that Valiant's going to be great. And next year, it's going to really rock. I think you're going to see that Valiant run its personal best by a lot next year. In fact, I think by a second. That much improvement I think you're going to see out of that car. No Parts Mustangs and minivans didn't advertise as much. Yeah, none of us did. But that said, we're going to be seeing a lot come next year. I predict that the 5th annual is going to be. I mean, I love all of these No Name Nationals that we've ever had. I mean, I can think of things I liked about every single one of them. They were all special, and but I'm thinking the 5th is going to be the biggest yet. Next year will be. Looking forward to it. Yep. This is the time, guys. We're not promised tomorrow. We don't know how long we'll live. When we sit a year out, we might not get another year. We might sit a year out, and then a good friend we wanted to see, something could happen to them, and we don't get to see them that next year. So you make the most of the opportunities we have now. Evans Mopar Scott says he just needs to get another rear end and sure grip in it. I wouldn't at all be surprised to see Don have that for 2026. Colleen said, I just wish the hostess at Lambert's would say next 4, next 6. We're all family, and we don't want to break everyone up. Yeah, well, that's actually how I've done it every year. I just walk in there and just whomever's in line by me when I get there, hey, want to have dinner together. I've done it that way every year. Mexican Spec says Plymouth never envisioned a 440 in that Valiant. Some engineering needed to be done, and it was. Big Mike is back. Big Mike, winner of the inaugural Frankenstein Award by Frankenstein C20 Les. We appreciate that. And Mike is going to be the judge of next year's Frankenstein Award. How cool is that? So Mike's going to have 2 official duties to No Name Nationals next year. He's going to be the judge of the Frankenstein Award, and he is the official retriever of the light plants. So, and I really appreciate Mike doing that. That is so helpful to me. There is no way I can break away to get those light plants. Not Friday at 1 in the afternoon. There is just no way. That's like the most ground zero busy time of that whole event for me. I can't possibly do it. But Mike's got me. And he's got a driver's license and insurance. He's got the right vehicle and hitch and everything. And they know him down there, and it just works out great. So I really appreciate Mike doing that. There's certain things that people in this community do to help me with this event that I just couldn't do without him. And Mike, that's Mike's thing that he does, right? Lars really helps me with setup. There's so many things that people help us do here, and we appreciate it. Mike does it for the community. Yes, we thank you. Those 2 light plants just add the right ambiance to that burnout pit every year. Yeah, Mike's son is enlisted. Got to be good to hear from him. Rabbit Transit Garage is my son really liked the Homofo, the Honda Mopar Ford. He put graffiti on it. Bigfoot Mark came with his Simon and Simon looking Dodge Power Wagon. It's very cool to see. Bigfoot Mark, are you going to bring a blower car to the 5th annual No Name Nationals? Is that the plan? I think Mohawk 62 means Silver had a blast and says hi to you all. Glad everybody from Camp Mohawk could be there. It's good to see the Cruda that Buck's been working on all this time. Mike appreciates everybody went over to graffiti / sign the car. Yeah, I got to sign it. Yeah, it was so good to see everyone. I mean, smiles everywhere, and that totally makes it worth it. Love getting to see everyone over there. You guys know my original mission with No Name Nationals. I wanted to have a cookout in the middle of the country at a drag strip with my friends I met through YouTube. And that's exactly what it's been, but it has really scaled up to something big. Well, we don't know. Somebody's got to bring something for Mike to judge. The Frankenstein build, who knows what it'll be. But Mike's judging it, so whomever wins it will judge the following year. We usually have stuff that qualifies pretty well. Junkyard D said it was great to see the Cruda there. Yes, it was. It's really good to see that there. Buck has worked very hard on that car, and I'm glad to see it there. And I think it'll come back next year with a lot more under the hood, too. Yeah, Damien, I think what do you have here? A homo photo. That might be something completely different than a car. So I think we're getting too crazy with the acronyms there. Jack Stains and Cinder Blocks, winner of Monkey Bike Eliminator. Cousin Cleta says, I'm building something pretty Frankenstein. Cool. Hippie Long says, I would like to see a way non-creators can join into bracket fun. You can. There's a million bracket races that go on at every other event there is. You can run in them. Can there not be one for people that do YouTube content creation? I mean, it just takes a 500 sub channel. Anyone can do that. And that's the initiation ritual into this community. And it works. It works because when you do that, people know you, they know your builds, you interact all year long. It's very helpful, and you can do it. Style points for the Roach spark plug there in your thumbnail. I like that. Yeah, but we had a great time. Couldn't get out of there till Sunday afternoon because of all the things taking stuff down. Got to go home and spend a little bit of time with family in Middle Tennessee on the way back. I got to see my cousin. So I went 1 for 3 on that. But that said, I was glad to see my cousin Jamie and came on in the next day. Of course, I lost a windshield wiper linkage bushing on the van on the way in. It's no big deal. Tim72 Demon said, Lambert sat me alone. Big Mike and the one-eyed cat sat beside me, and they adopted me. That's very cool. Very cool. Casey, the monkey bike champion is here. Keep your feet on the pegs. Yep. Yeah, it's just lots of folks we know at Lambert's, and no reason to ever eat alone there. I got no time. I'm busy watching your creator shows. You put on a fun event. Well, hey, we'd like to have you there. And if you want to do a channel, we have content creator workshops and everything. And so we do a couple of those a year, and this community will help you. They all know the drill. That will be the slow race, correct. Dust Devil Garage says you got to put in the work if you want to play, and the NNN is as it should be. I agree. Jack stands center blocks is editing footage right now. JB's got to run. Thank you for being here. 6-cylinder bracket class champion and people's choice, JB. Makes me really happy to hear that. It really made me smile. Yeah, I get to see all the winners before they get announced. So, it's a little different for me, but really makes me smile when I look through that list and see it. Of course, people's choice, I don't know people's choice until we do it at the event, because we take nominations from the field and the crowd chooses it. So that's the one I don't know before, but I know all the others ahead of time. But maybe feel really good to see that. And of course, we knew he won the 6-cylinder bracket. And Ryan from 113 Cycles put together a great slow bike race video already. Yes. So 113 Cycles, go check that out. M still trying to find his SD chip reader to connect. Yeah, technology. Don't you love it? I use a Windows-based laptop, a Dell Alienware. It's really good for doing video and stuff. But then I have the iPhone, and I wish that they would communicate together a little better. That would be super nice. Mopar's Mustangs video says, I have killer burnout video. Yeah, go check it out. Russell, he burnt the house down. We had a lot of good burnout guys out there again this year. I think we're going to have a big burnout competition in 26. Kind of ebbs and flows. The second was huge. I predict that the fifth is going to be big. It's going to be bigger than the second. The second was the biggest burnout competition we've ever had. I mean, gosh, it was ankle deep with shrapnel. But they got some special stuff planned for burnout in 2026. Did Chris show up? Chris kept giving me updates. He kept getting delayed and just couldn't quite make it for burnout. He wanted to come hang out the next day, but I think they just got behind and couldn't do it. But he tried. He did try. I really wanted to see on Chris's card, he's got a tribute to my mom on the back of the Noisy Cricket. I wanted to see it in person. But hopefully I still will. Jack Stands the center block said, hey, it's the 5th year next year. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The 5th annual will be next year. Mexican Specs says the Chrysler was cool. He opened and closed the covered headlights. That was enough for me. Yes, it was. I like that. So it went from 28-10-5 tire contender to, making quick passes in one car and burn out in the other. And I thought that was super cool. Between your vans, wheel bearings, and Dougsters, lugs, yeah, there's always a bunch of broken stuff like that, and that's just not a big deal. I will say, if you're going to have a problem like that, that's a good place to have it, because you got a whole lot of help there, a lot of tools, got a shop there. Bigfoots and Mopar skipped the burnout contest 2 years in a row. Dude, you should come out. It's a lot of fun. It's a blast, man. So much fun. Barkley is really good. And I give him the air horn and let him watch for blown tires and end them people's runs. Barkley's super good at that. So when somebody's really good at something like that, I draft them for it. And I appreciate Barkley doing that for us. Barkley, who came really close to winning the bracket. Barkley broke out by 1/100th of a second against Joe. And Joe ran dead on his dial with an 8. Man, it was a close race, and I was up the top end to see it. But Joe for the win. Joe beat the toughest competition in the No Name Nationals bracket ever to win, and his second bracket at the No Name Nationals. So he's the first two-time winner, and we want to see Joe come back, and I predict there'll be a big target on him. We'll see. M&M says, I'm still giving Jamie at Dead Dodge Garage crap for taking all the trophies and not being there for 4 years. Hey, he showed up and showed off and did it, right? And we had fireworks this year, yes. So after the burnout competition, Dust Devil Garage brought out fireworks. He had mortars. It was great. I want to see this expand on that for next year. That was fun. Jack Stan's Cinder Block's going to be racing something other than the monkey bike next year. Right on. Danny Boyd loves Barclays Cutlass. Yeah, it is cool, man. That big blue Cutlass is cool. Yep, Dougster and Tanner running to light fireworks. Yet Dougster can't get out of the way quite like Tanner can, so I'm glad Tanner was doing that. Congratulations to Tanner, Vintage Adventurer Drives, winner of the Cinderella Award, which is the overall winner of the No Name 500. We have talent in every class, every year. We've got standout talent in the No Name 500. The first year it's always tough. It's always a tough call between a few people, but the first year Buck Does It won the No Name 500. The second year, Nate from Blue Collar Performance won the Cinderella Award. The third year, it was Buff Del Campo. Again, these are all people who've made incredible channels, and started from scratch to be in the No Name 500, or close to it. They would have fit the No Name 500s. They had fewer than 500 subs. They had to have. But and then Tanner from Vintage Adventurer Drives, worthy winner of the No Name 500 for 2025 and the Cinderella Trophy. So I hope we have a great No Name 500 class for 2026. Tanner did a lot of work on other cars. Yes, he did. He's hammering that satellite. I'll tell you what, one of our young guns, got a very promising future and doing great things. Glad he was there. But that's the jerky and the cups was incredibly delicious. Yeah, there's always a lot of good food floating around there. If you're hungry at the No Name Nationals, it's your fault. Always a lot of good stuff to eat. But that's the promoter's eye view of the whole thing. That's how it went for me. It was a wonderful weekend. Had a great time. We loved having that little air-conditioned cabin to stay in. That was great. Great place for Jethro and everything. But, it was a great event. Sure made things easier on me. But that's going to help me, to administer this event and make the best 2026 ever. Mike Cotton, sorry I missed the event. I'll be there next year for sure. Looked like a great time. Yeah, we had a great time, man. Come on out. I'm planning on making 2026 the biggest and best yet. And all of these are special. There's certain things about all of them that are just so memorable. The first one, just because everything was brand new the first year. I remember some things just being a blur because of the amount of work it took to put things together from a vision to them actually happening. And so the first year, there was a lot of just so many incredible things. Like the first time you see something and someone in person, it's just so neat, right? And that was the thing about the first one. And then the second year, I remember so many more new faces, came on, and a big No Name 500 class. And the second year was great. I remember the burnout competition from the second year was just off the chain. And then the third year, we had quicker cars than we've ever had there. I remember that, the performance stuff from the third year. Wow. And then the fourth year, I just remember the camaraderie and just what a great event it was. Everybody having such a good time. I just think the fun factor for the fourth year was so high. So they're all remembered for a little bit different things by me, but I really can't wait to see what the fifth year will be, with no preconceived notions other than I got some stuff I want to do to make it bigger and better. And I want it to be the year that people say, this is definitely not the year we're sitting out. We're making this one. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate you being there, Mr. Cotton. Wendy's going to make a bigger pot of macaroni and cheese. It only lasted 30 minutes. Hey, stuff like that goes quickly. How about a Young Guns trophy? Well, maybe. What are you trying to say? Most of us are old guns? The instigator was diabolical. Yeah, I think some of that stuff started to get away a little bit from what we're doing. And I really like having Triple Crown this year. So we're expanding on that for next year. Cousin Cletus says Nadertron's podcast is going to do a live at 9:15 Central tonight. So 15 minutes after this live wraps, about a half an hour from now, Nadertron's podcast is going to do a live. So check that out on Nadertron's World. Andy from Unity Motorsports Garage. I hate that I missed y'all this year. Hopefully bringing 2 next year. Andy, we want to see you, buddy. So the 5th year is going to be a big one, and really work on DV and let him know I'll do whatever I can to help him, because 5th year is the year you don't want to miss. Indirect Connection says this year was the year I brought my family together, and not just you guys. Yes. So Indirect Connection had the family there, and it was wonderful. Dr. Go was kind enough to give me and my view of Priceless Keepsake. Yeah, me too. Dr. Go was so cool. Dr. Go gave me a vintage 1969 Hot Wheels VW Dune buggy. And I thought that was so cool because I missed out on a VW Dune buggy this year. Kind of stuck in my craw a little bit because somebody saw my short and came 6 hours out of Pennsylvania and bought it out from under me. Stuff happens. I'm glad it's got a good home. I probably needed it like I needed a hole in my head. But Dr. Go gave me that and out of his collection. I thought that was really cool of him. So it's living here in my office now. That was very nice of him. Mexican Spec, we've got some outside press covering the event. But it's a great event. You should come to it. Yeah, well, you know what? I put it out because I wanted to share with my friends. You should come to the No Name Nationals. You should come. You should come and show us how it's done, man. And we mentioned him, and there's Dr. Go himself. They call him Dr. Go. Blue Grit says, Miss Indirect did great rowing through the 3 on the tree. Yes, she did. She was racing a bolt action out there. How great was that? Very pleasant, too. I had never met her in person until that event. That was great. Of course, you knew she'd be cool. I mean, you know, Jason's wife, she's got to be. Mike Cotton's asking, is it going to be the same place next year? Yes. Barring nuclear disaster, yes. Skelton Raceway in Sikeston, Missouri. Mopars Mustangs Minivan. Does anyone have recommendations on internet providers for crisp live streams to the event? I've had trouble with this from the first 2 years we did that. You see, we have had internet from GoSimo Fiber there, but we had some technical problems that just never worked out the way we wanted it to, and cost too much for the results we got. Now, I'm not saying anything about them. It may be something in the other end. So what I may need to do is get some folks more technically savvy than I to figure that out. But we can work on that for next year. Jack stands center blocks. I can bring a Starlink. I think what will happen with time is we'll see the technology get ironed out a little better. Indirect Jason says, Tanya loved it so much she's already looking up parts for next year's cars. It'll be here before you know it. Blue Grits wants to hang out more with the Scamp Man next year. I wish I could hang out more with all of y'all next year. Things don't even slow down for me until the middle of the day on Saturday. That's when things, you know, I mean, Wednesday is busy because even though people are just starting to trickle in, I got to start getting people checked in as they get here. Because if I waited to do that, it would just be piled up on me. And then I've always got a bunch of administrative stuff to do on Wednesday. And then Thursday is just off the hook busy, getting people checked in, got to coordinate the crews, all the admin to do for Friday. And then Friday is super busy, so much racing, setting up for burnout, all of that. And then I got administrative stuff to do Friday night too. And then on Saturday, I got to get all that together, got to get the get ready for awards and all of that. It's just a lot to do. And Saturday's when it finally starts to calm down enough. And then Saturday after awards, that's when I got a little bit of time to hang out. But it's just the way it is. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. Mo Parquet, howdy. Mexican Spec says, does anyone need a car for next year? Well, Mexican Spec can hook you up. Big Puts and Mopar says, Jay and Jason are the hardest working guys there. I could nominate them for such. This guy's never stopped. Jason, or Jay, Indirect Connection Jay, he went and put a starter on Ryan Barsniss's truck. Ryan Barsniss got stranded on, I believe it was Friday morning, and Jay ran out to the rescue. We put a page out so somebody could run out and catch him. There's just no way I could do it. I had a blown up wheel bearing in the van and I'm swamped, but Jay could. So, Cousin Cletus wants to know if anyone will bring an electric car next year. Well, we'll see. Call somebody out with an electric car. Mopar's, Mustangs, and minivans. It's not up to John to hang out with us. We need to hang out with John. If y'all ever want to hitch a ride on the golf cart, ride with me where I'm going to check people in or whatever, you're welcome to. I mean, but it's just, I am busy. So if you want to walk with me and run with me wherever I'm going, you're welcome to. I mean, I love seeing you guys. It is busy, 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 busy. Kevin's Mopars is saying, you and your family are quite the troopers. Tanya and Kevin stepped out of their comfort zones and faced their fears. Kevin has a heart of gold. Glad to see ever coming together. Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's this event has gotten a lot of people on the track for the first time in their lives, and it's interesting to see people are making stuff happen, and it just feels great to see that going on. Mopar cases, I need to fix my car for next year. Well, you got about 350 some days to do it. The clock and the calendar wait for no one. But I would recommend, and I think you're what, Mississippi somewhere? So you probably have pretty mild winters. I would work through the winter and make it happen. Look at the rule book. Make sure you can pass tech if you want to get out on the track. Unity Motorsports Garage. So will a 4.6 2-valve carburetor be legal for next year? And Triple Crown, I think it will. But that's a good question for Dallas and Professor P. But I think so. Cousin Cleveland, if I ride on a golf cart, maybe I'll look important. I just got to get places. That's all I got to do. I got to be places. Jonathan Reed, howdy. How's it going, sir? Crystal Onyx this year, I saw more John the Moan husband. Yeah, I kept running into Crystal everywhere. I had to be everywhere, and she was everywhere. Ginger Vance says, my first car was a 79 Nova. I'm looking for one. That sounds attainable. Blue Grit Garage says, if they bring an electric car, they need to build it on their channel. I'd love to see that. No Parquet says, bringing the 73 Duster back to life for No Name. I will say, and Kay, I have messaged you about a couple tech concerns I saw with the Duster, just a couple small ones that you may, and I'd sent a message because I didn't want somebody to show up at the event and not be able to pass tech. I would hate for that to happen. So I do everything I can to be very proactive about that. But I saw a couple little things Duster needs to pass tech that I could see in the video. That said, y'all want to bring a Duster? I'd love to see it there. Cletus says, my first car was a 75 Nova. That's cool. I mean, I'm not a Chevy guy, but you know what? I don't take anything away from Nova. I think they're cool. And Cletus and Ginger, Big James. If you look at the intro to this live stream every week, I've got Big James late 70s Nova in that. So wouldn't be the only one there. Ginger says the golf cart will run. It ran smooth too. Yeah, it was great. It's a lifesaver. Andy's saying, Dr. Go, there isn't a carbureted intake for the 3-valve, but there is for a 4-valve. Duster's not even close word in the messages. The phone number that you registered with, I sent a message there because I wanted you to have it as soon as possible. I can email it if you'd like. I'll just tell you here. I noticed on the Duster, because we're so far out, I noticed the Duster had stock wheel studs on it, and it looked like spacers with thick aluminum wheels. You've got to have the stud has to go through at least the diameter of the stud into the hex of the lug nut. And so while yours were in the shank of the lug nut, they weren't up in the hex. And when they fail, they break right where the hex meets the shank. And when they break, that's how the wheel will come off the car. So these need to have longer studs on the back. And if you're going to run slicks instead of street tires, you must have the drive shaft loop within 6 inches of the front U-joint. I just saw those two things. You could have done them, knocked them out in one day, before bringing it. But I just want people to know things like that because I like for people to be able to run. I hate for them to trailer from a long distance and not get to run. But those are just a couple things that I noticed on that car. You can run the Duster. You just want to make sure to take care of those couple of things. I'd love to see the Duster there. Ginger says, my dad bought me my first car, put a nice paint job on it. White with red race stripes, glass packs. It was nice. Oh, that's cool. Russell's going to get me the tire for the burnout trophy. Right on, man. I'll do that, sir. I will. Mexican Spec says the difference between the 78 and 79 Nova was the square headlights. Yep, that was about the year everything was changing over between round and square headlights. Even Dougster broke the studs of his truck and it was never on the track, right? Well, I'll tell you, Mopar K, it's not really that long a list on passing tech. If you get on it now, you can take care of it. But the AHRA rulebook is available at NoNameNationals.com. It's not exhaustive, but you just want to get on it early. And I will tell you, everybody in this chat has had to go through the same tech and do the same things. So it's no one singled out here. They can all help you. They've all had to do it. They've all had to go through tech. I mean, it's not the kind of thing you want to do, but you could probably thrash on it in the event and get it done. Kind of thing you want to do ahead of time. Heavens Mopar says, it's my goal to have my Duster finished in there as well. And I will tell you, I will be putting out something soon on this. We want to make Scott's car get there this year. I told Scott he's got to do his part and get it together and running. And we will help him get it there. Because that is a big logistical move for Scott, not having a tow vehicle and being in Washington State. But we want it to happen. So we're going to be looking at some options. We're going to make it happen for Scott, okay? Scott has been a wonderful part of this community all these years. We want him to have a victory in his life. We want him to bring a car to the No Name Nationals, and he is a guy that I really want to help for 2026. So I'll be putting something together and organizing something on that. You'll see the house will be organizing it, but we're going to help Scott get a car there for 2026. Yeah, we're going to do it. Jack stands cinder blocks. I'll tell you, your competition will tech you more than tech does. You don't have any brakes yet. Let's get that fixed. Yeah, well, I'll just say that everybody here, I will say, like a lot of cars here have like, I'm not picking on him at all. The one-eyed cat, Don English, we love the one-eyed cat. His car was way away from passing tech in the beginning. But Don, Don's got a great winning attitude. That dude has a winning attitude. He's a great role model in this community. Don English, the One Eyed Cat channel, go check him out. He was a No Name 500 rock star. He has gone through and brought everything up to par on his Valiant and made that car so much better and safer. I'm talking the brakes, the steering, the suspension, everything. Don has done wonders with that car. And so if he can do it, y'all can all do it too. You know what? Even on my van, I said, you know what? I got a broken battery hold down on this van. And that Group 27, yeah, it's probably not going anywhere. But you know what? I'm not going to ask these guys to do anything I'm not going to do. So I did that with you guys. Even though the van never went through tech, never took it down the track, I still wanted to set a good example. I put a new battery hold out in the van too. So I try to hold myself to the same standard I hold you guys to. Russell says, I'll donate to help get Scott's car there. We're going to work on that. We're going to put something together organized by the house, and we're going to make it happen for Scott. Evans Mopar is a 78 D150 step side, heavy enough to use the tow rig, 318, 4-speed, two-wheel drive. Yeah, but I'll tell you, that's a long trip on a short wheelbase truck like that with a 318. That said, we're going to explore some options. We're going to put something together formally for Scott. We're going to make it happen. But it's got to be a good plan. We're not throwing any good money after bad. You know, we're going to make it happen. Don had 10 plus people when he was tuning his car. Yes, that's because everyone loves Don. Don's a great guy. He's very worthy of help. He helps everybody else. You do too, Wendy. And so does Ron and Brian. And that's, you know, that's why. Junkyard D says passing tech is 90% standard safety, no leaks, seat belts, brakes, tires. Yes, 10% straight specific. That's a very good way to put that, Junkyard D. 90% is just basic stuff that kind of pretty much deferred maintenance. Indirect Connection says, speaking of John, why haven't you run down the track? I have. I made a pass down the track in Mr. Haney. I'm good. Don said, I put a drive shaft loop just because it would need it eventually. Yeah, he went above and beyond. He's already working on a standard of tech that the car will grow into. Yeah, you got time. Just look at it. Make you a list. You can do it. Mopars, Mustangs, minivans says, I feel like I have more fun helping fixing the mini bikes than I did racing. Yeah, you know, that's just part of it. Go Haney. Yes, indeed. You know what? I ran 1/100th off of Cope's time in Mr. Haney that weekend. He and for those who weren't there, he and Professor P were doing a match race, and they decided to ambush me by putting me in the seat when they pulled up to the line. I didn't know they were running Pro Tree, so I'm holding a trans brake, waiting for the top bolt to come down, and I was going to bring it up on the converter, and then the whole thing flashed. I'm like, well, okay, Polito's gone, so I didn't want to botch the pass itself, so I just relaxed. You know, nice launch left. Didn't bring it quite all the way up like Cope does, but I still ran an 8. The same time he was doing, like 8:13. That truck is pretty consistent. Ran the same time he ran with it with Passenger here this past weekend, but the truck was a little quicker, so he'd been running the 790s with it, and that's with the little motor. He's putting the big motor in another car, and who knows? Maybe the Coronet will be at No Name Nationals. Maybe the Power Wagon, but it might be something different than Haney for 2026. I really hope Cope comes back, of course. Indirect Connection, Jason. I love helping out every single one of my brothers and sisters, the No Name Nationals family, as long as they're trying themselves. That's right. That's right. Jason's got an incredible work ethic, and that guy will help anyone. And he just wants to see people who are helping themselves. But he's right. We're glad Cope made it this year. He says, I sure will. Yes. Love seeing Cope there. You know, I got such good friends in this community. I just love seeing my friends there. So, but we're at our time, guys. Thank you all for coming out. And thank you for listening to the wrap up from my point of view. We're going to be doing some stuff in the off season on this channel. As soon as you see a number back here on the orange paper, you'll know when the event's going to be. And then we do an official announcement live talking about things like the classes and that kind of thing on the last Friday of the year, which will be December 26th this year. So look for the formal announcement on December 26th, but I will get you a date earlier than that. And we'll have a date when you see the number back here. So no reason to ask me, when's the event? When's the event? What's the date? What's the date? If there's not a number back here, it's because I don't have one yet. When a number appears back here, y'all figure it out. But that said, you guys have a great weekend. Be safe. I will see you guys again next Friday. Don't forget to watch Tech Talk Live on Wednesday with Dallas and Professor P. And we'll see you guys again on Friday. Have a great weekend.